Hi, hello, it's Paul from LiteBox Architecture. We're here today with Keith Green from Oaklands Mills, who's one of our loft conversion specialists, and we wanted to talk a little bit further about loft conversions. So if I hand you over to Keith, just explain who he is, what he does.
Yes, my name's Keith Green. I'm the director of Oaklands Mill Limited. We specialise in loft conversions, and I've been doing it for 34 years now. So yes, we've done quite a few loft conversions along the way amongst us.
Yeah, we've worked together for a number of years doing lofts. You're building them, we're doing the drawings for you. So Keith, why do you think it's important for clients to get architectural drawings or some kind of plans for their loft conversion?
Well, me personally, I mean, some people builders are different. I prefer to have a set of drawings done because it gives me, the builder, the confidence that the onus is not put on the builder to make sure every little detail is right. So in doing that, it gives me that assurance that I haven't got to be worried.
You've got everything laid out for you.
Yeah.
You know what you're doing. You know what you're pricing.
Any problems, if there's any little incident, because sometimes when the best architect in the world, when you come to physically do a job, there's always every now and again there'll be a problem where it's easy to pick up the phone and speak to yourself and say, Paul, we've got this problem, but we obviously didn't see it at one stage, and that interaction is there to solve the problem.
Being able to collaborate in order to solve a problem if anything arises.
Oh, definitely, yes, definitely.
And so you're a member of Federation of Master Builders. So
Yes.
do you want to just explain what that is?
Federation of Master Builders is an organisation set up to basically for the customer, the client really, to give them some insurance that the people that they're going to choose to do their work, come into their home and transform it, hopefully, they've got the right people that are going to go. They've been vetted to some description, and they're going to be doing the work to a standard that's required by building control, and obviously
So it gives
any
the
other
client some
organisation.
insurances as well that the job's going to be done right as well.
Yeah,
It's backed by the FM.
A lot of people nowadays, there's that you see all these programs and all these road builders and what have you. A lot of people are a lot more savvy nowadays, and when you go around to look in people's houses and do a survey, they know what they're talking about. You know,
There's
you
a
can't.
lot more research these
Yeah,
days. There's a lot
definitely.
more content available on the internet, such as this, where people can get some good information.
And quite a few people, when I do go around, they will say, "Oh, I always ask the point of reference is where did you get to hear for us, or is it a recommendation or something like that." And a lot of people do say, "Well, we looked on the Federation of Master Builders, and we've seen you on there," and that's one of the points that they use as a way of getting you to phone you to get you through the door, basically.
Right. So next question is planning permission required? So I guess maybe I can answer part of that, is that potentially yes, planning permission might be required, and that's something that we would be able to check for you with the local planning department. It does depend on how many extensions and how much you've renovated your property previously. Generally though, a lot of the loft conversions that we do will fall under building regs, and the planning side of it will come under permitted development.
The majority of loft conversions can be done under permitted development. The only difference is we have had cases in the past where, and I think they've rectified that now, but there was a period of time where you could have your extension, you can have a semi-detached property, and you'd have an extension on that one side had already done their extension, but the other side hadn't. And if you'd done your extension and then wanted to do your loft, if you'd gone over your permitted development,
50 cubic metres is the normal.
you would have to go to planning, and
Yeah.
in some instances they would not grant it you the job.
I mean, I think the best idea really is for clients to either approach us, for us to check,
Yeah.
and double check with the local planning department to make sure that it is within permitted development
Yeah.
before they start. So, building control approval. Again, most of the work comes under building control. So, do you need building control approval? Yes, you definitely do.
Oh, for every job you'd need building control approval. And anything like a loft conversion, extension, garage conversion, even the installation of just a steel beam to take a wall out, you still need building control approval to make sure that you're putting the right.
And so
right
the building
materials in.
inspector will come out at certain times during the build whilst you're working to check that job off at certain points. So for a loft conversion, for instance, they will come out and check the steel installation.
Yeah.
They will check when the dormer's constructed and the roof. They will check that you've got the right amount of insulation in the roof.
Yeah.
And then they will come back towards the end of the job and make sure that you have, for instance, a Part P certificate for your electrics, or any boiler works that's got your gas safety certificates for.
Yeah, all that you've pretty much said, the actual steps that you do, that they come out on. And I think you're allowed up to, depending on different authorities, they allow you so many visits per job.
Yes.
But what you do find is they know how you work, and they know, so they do limit they can limit.
Yeah, I think when you've got a good builder such as yourself that knows his stuff, he knows what he's doing with the job, the building inspector will come out and they're normally pretty comfortable because they know you know what you're doing and the job's going to be right.
We normally get 3 visits, and that's, once you get, the first one is, I normally get all the floor in, the steels in, and then they'll get the dormer out, so the shells, everything's there. That basically gets rid of 1 visit, so they can see it all the structures all in, and so that's the first one. Then they'll always want to see the installation, because that's obviously a very important part of the job. So they'll come out and have a look at that before you start your plasterboarding, and then normally that's it then until the completion. Then your stairs go in, everything's finished, and you've got your paperwork.
So with regards to a loft conversion, so if the client sat there at home watching this thinking, can I convert my loft? What are your key areas that you would need so if that client went into their loft, what would they need to just do a basic loft conversion, whether that's a roof light conversion, just a pitched roof, or maybe a dormer, such as headroom, etc. What is it that you would look for when you went out to do a quote?
First thing I would do first thing I do when I go out to look at a job is I go straight up into the loft and I measure the headroom. It's no good sitting down with a customer for an hour going through everything, and then you go into the loft afterwards and they haven't got enough headroom to do the loft.
And what's your minimum height?
The minimum headlight, we have had a couple of jobs that we've squeezed it in. Performed miracles, I know.
That's when you have to get your magic wand out.
That's right, yes. But generally, you're looking at a minimum that you can safely get one in between 2.4 and 2.5 as a minimum now.
Right, okay. With the increased insulation and different things. I know before maybe we used to get around 2.3 metres, we could make it work just about
it's
tight.
Well, bear in mind, you need a minimum headroom on the landing of 2 metres. On your landing.
A minimum 2 metres headroom as you come up the stairs.
Underneath the stairs from the existing, you need a minimum. They do relax a little bit to 1.9 in certain variations, but as a rule, it is 2 metres.
And what about the space downstairs? Because generally with loft conversions there has to be some sacrifice on the first floor, which may be off a bedroom slightly, or normally the box room on some of these jobs, where you've got to allow for the stairs to come in and go up. I've always seen it that stairs over stairs is the best use of space because it's an empty void already.
Yeah, definitely.
So
otherwise you're going into another bedroom then to get a flight of stairs in. But sometimes it's an option that has to be that way, but
that the stairs go in between the 2 bedrooms.
If they just want a Velux window without the dormers and they've got a hip roof on it, then they're going to have to go into. There's no way you can get the stairs in above the existing stairs if they've maintained the shape of the existing roof.
Right.
So that would be a case where you would have to have the stairs going through one of the bedrooms, but it's not ideal. And
we talked about on our last video that we did, that we run through generally the basic types of loft conversion, which were a roof light conversion, pitched roof with roof lights. We looked at a dormer loft conversion where we're extending outside of the roof space, and a hip to gable conversion. Obviously a hip roof can still be converted as a loft conversion. Again, that's not a problem, it can be done. And obviously a mansard roof, but we don't tend to get a lot of them in this area. That tends to be more London, that direction. So with converting those loft areas, we've obviously got the party wall. Now obviously this is as we discussed it, this is a bit of a tricky area.
Very much so.
And it can be a bit of a grey area and can be expensive sometimes. And so the Party Wall Act 1996 is what covers your party wall. Now, without going into too much detail, this is something that will need to be agreed on every job with a loft conversion. And I would suggest that clients, and we can direct you to a party wall surveyor or speak to your solicitor. In the first instance, potentially you can discuss this with the neighbours. Now, it does depend if you get on with the neighbours. If there's a bit of friction there with your neighbours already, it can be tricky to agree this.
It's your best option if you can do that.
What's your experience or your thoughts around?
Okay, regarding that, like we've said already, it is a very sticky situation, grey area. In all the years that we've been doing loft conversions, we've never ever once had to implement a party wall agreement, as in a legal identity,
with a party wall surveyor,
yes,
or a solicitor
we've never
dealing
had to
with
do
it as a
that,
dispute.
No. But I do fully understand that neighbours are neighbours, and most people do get on theirs, but in some cases that is not the case, and an agreement would have to be done.
Yeah, generally, I mean, you can do a written agreement with your neighbour. If you look on the government website for the Party Wall Act, that they do set out in their booklet the template letters that you can use. So that can be really simple. If you've got great neighbours, it can be a really simple solution that you can agree the party wall between you. Obviously, if the neighbours aren't happy, then potentially it could rise into a dispute. At that point, we would direct you then to deal with a party wall surveyor or solicitors. Not going to go around that too much more because we can get into some sticky areas.
Just be nice to your neighbours, and things will be a lot.
Yes.
Be a lot easier. Okay. It's just 2 months notice prior to work commencing is your legal requirement that you need to, before you start work, you need to let your neighbours know. Okay.
So if we go on to then a few more, I guess, building questions that clients are likely to ask you when you're either before you start the works. Can the client still live in the house while you're converting the loft?
Yes. So 99% of the clients do still live in the house while we're doing the work for them. It is dependent on the side of the job. And for example, even in this example, the families that we've done them for still manage to live within the house while we're working there. It's just it boils down to how you manage the job to lessen the suffering, basically.
I think with every loft conversion, there's going to be an element of dust. There's going to be an element of mess. You can't stop that. And also, in this country, the elements. With the best will in the world, you can put tarpaulins over every single roof. You're still going to get a little bit of rain in maybe here or there. But sometimes it's not really anything to worry about.
It's all down to how you manage your job. And I can only speak from how I run my business.
I know for you manage your jobs really well, and obviously you've got these down to an art now. So
I'd like to think so.
Your dormers and your roof are pretty much up in a day.
Yeah,
the structure's
that's
there,
it.
so it's all about getting that roof open and then getting it closed off as quick as possible.
It's all about preparation. The day before you actually do your dormer, you pre-cut everything, so everything's loaded up on the scaffold. So when come the dormer day, we call it dormer day.
Dormer day. Put that in the diary.
Everything's there, cut, ready. So it's just a case of fitting the jigsaw puzzle together, and then come the end of the day, it's all sealed up. So by the end of the dormer day, the cheeks are done, the front's up, and it's all sort of waterproof there. The only grey area is obviously the roof. And if it's a flat roof, then basically what we're doing is we do tarpaul it over, sheet it out for the one night, and then that's really it, because the next day the rubber roof goes on.
So that possibly leads into my next question of the client asking how much mess they're going to be.
Right. Well, the mess is same again. It's all down to preparation. You're never going to stop dust, because dust will get everywhere. Yeah. But as long as you're open and honest with your client when you first go around and expect them, they are going to get some sort of discomfort.
So you can stop the majority of the most of it is sealed in the loft until you break through. But they might still have a bit of dust in their mug in the morning when they put the tea in.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't even go as far as that, really. The way we do the procedures we set out when we're doing our lofts is that we do as much work up in the loft, we do all the outside work, and then we just come into the house towards the end. So when you're cutting the stairwell open. The stairwell out, we fit the stairs towards the end, and then so there's no cutting out. I know that in most cases all the doors have to be changed. So it's all them sort of jobs done at the end, so it gives the client as much normality throughout the job for as long as possible.
Something I will mention while we're talking about more construction things is obviously something that come along a lot with older houses where you have the fan lights above the door, so you might have a bit of glass above your door. Now generally for building regs and for fire, they generally have to lose that bit of glass above, and that will have to be boarded over with some kind of fireboard. I know that building control have over the years relaxed a little bit with the self-closers on the fire door. So you still need fire doors, and you would need fire doors all the way through your building from your loft to your first floor to your ground floor. But the self-closers, because it used to be such an issue with the self-closers. Now I think, as far as we said, they've relaxed that a little bit, that without self-closers, but you still need the fire door on.
Well, basically going back a few years now, I can't remember now, you used to be able to put a fire escape window in the roof.
Yes, yeah, I remember. They were the good old days.
Yeah, but there was more, as it turned out after surveys, that there was more chance of children falling out of those because they couldn't be locked, that they could have done away with those in the end.
Yeah.
So they relaxed. The same again with the door closers.
They moved to a more of a protected shaft, which I think actually is a lot better.
Yes,
they've
I
taken
agree.
the window away, and now they've gone to this protected shaft. So from the loft, you're able to basically walk all the way down and get out of that building.
You've
should
got
there be a fire.
protective walkway all the way down from the loft straight out to the front, to the front door. They took away the door closers a good few years ago again, on the premise that
most people wedged them open.
Most doors are wedged open,
or took them off after the job was finished.
There's been times where I've come out, I've just fitted them, because it's the same sort of thing. You'd fit the door closers on the doors on your pretty much your last day. You're walking out, taking your tools out, and they're ready to take them off straight away.
Which obviously we're not condoning anything
no,
to do with.
not at all.
Fire, obviously you need your fire doors there, and they're there for a reason in building control. But obviously we have no control what clients do or anything else after the job is completed.
So once they took them away, that onus had gone then. So it's all down to then. A fire door was there on the onus for the client to make sure that the door is shut every evening.
Right.
Before you go to bed, so that maintains the protection throughout the house. And with regards to the skylights that you were referring to earlier, most cases that they do take them out, especially the wall where the box room is, where the stairs go in. That wall goes, so that just automatically just goes then. But some people, they still want that light, as much light as they can, to come onto the landing and vice versa. So what is, in most cases, what we do, we put the Georgian glass wiring.
Right. Okay.
So that, as long as the glass as long as the glass goes on the landing side, and then you just bead around the glass, that maintains the fire protection, and it also gives them some natural light.
Right.
And with it being a frosted, they've still got the privacy of obviously people walking down the stairs.
Okay. Okay. So we'll get straight down to the nitty gritty of it now.
Right. Okay.
How long's the loft conversion going to take?
Right, same again, how long's a piece of string, but depending on the size of the job.
So on your average loft conversion?
I normally allow 6 to 8 weeks for each job.
That's so 6 to 8 weeks to convert.
7 to 8 weeks, but depending on, like you say, the factor of weather and any other mitigating circumstance, that is basically what we're looking at.
Okay, and the big question, how much is it going to cost?
How much does it cost? Right, well okay, well, it's that same again, that's dependent on what the individual needs.
Average loft conversion.
Average loft, a full dormer, flat roof dormer with a bedroom and an ensuite. You're looking around between the 36 to 40 now, depending on the spec.
And if they went for a roof light conversion, so no dormer, but just a straightforward roof with a couple of roof lights.
Yeah, then same again, that goes, you'd be looking between the 34, 36 for that.
Right, okay. Okay, well thanks very much for coming in and sharing all of that with viewers.
That's okay.
I hope all of this has been really helpful, and to get a bit of an insight from the builder's perspective of what he would want from you, and obviously what's important to him. If you've got a loft conversion in mind, then please get in touch. You can drop us a message at info@liteboxarchitecture.co.uk. jump onto our website, www.liteboxarchitecture.co.uk, book one of our free online consultations. If you want to check out anything to do with us or anything to do with Keith at Oaklands Mill, then the links will be in the bottom of this video, and you can click on them and go through. By all means, give Keith a call. He's a great guy, does a great job.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you.